After 1 year of heavy use of this bike rack, I must say that I like it. It works for me, it works for our family, but the rack has some features that may make it not suitable for you. Let's start with the positives, because this is a good rack and I like it. One good thing is that it keeps the bikes well in place. It feels solid enough, so I'm kind of comfortable traveling around with bikes hanging at the back of my van. I will lift the bike on the rack and show you how it works. I need to get some gloves because the rack and the whole van is so dirty at the moment. Okay, so first I will undo this security tie. Can take it completely off, like so. Then I will open this arm and now it should be ready to come down. Actually, I will need to open these two, so like so. And then I will close these straps so it stays in place. All right, and let's take a bike. Actually, before I take a bike, I will undo these straps and put them like so. So now they stay open. It's easy to lift the bike on the rack now. Good, good. And let's get the bike. Lift it up. Get the top tube arm over there. And then just close it. Like so. Here is a lock, so I can lock the bike on the rack. And then I just set the supports for the wheel. Check that the rim is okay. Close the strap. Then I closed another strap. Okay, now the rear wheel is in place. And that's it. Quite easy to do, especially with one bike. If you are having two bikes on the rack, sometimes things get kind of more tricky. It depends on the geometry of the frame of the bikes. This arm is kind of really short, but it usually fits the bikes if you have kind of a normal or close to normal top tube. But especially some mountain bikes have kind of weird frames, so the top tube can be quite different than on this bike. So it might be that the short arm for the first bike here doesn't fit your frame. Then if you have two bikes side by side, sometimes also this long arm for the second bike might be kind of hard to get in place depending on the geometry, so that the first bike may kind of prevent that this arm cannot attach to the top tube of the bike. But that's bike dependent, and there has been situations where I have had to fiddle around with the exact positions of the bikes and the orientation, that where is the front wheel, is it there or there. But in any case, I have always managed to fit all our bikes in every combination on this rack. So I think it's kind of a quite versatile rack, although there are situations where it might first feel that you cannot fit those two exact bikes on the rack. Yeah, but this is quite solid. The bike stays well in place. The rack feels quite solid. And the good thing is that the rear door is still kind of easy to use. Just open it from the handle, then open the door and voila. Just you need to be careful that now it's a heavy wind, so that the wind does not take this door too far away there, so that the bike rack doesn't hit the wall of the van. And closing, this is also simple thing to do, like so. What else I had to say about this rack? I have some notes written on my phone. Let's see. Yeah, kind of the height of the rack. I can kind of show you a close-up from here. Originally, when we got this van, this rack was much higher. There are 3 preset settings for the height of the rack, and it was on the highest setting. Now it's in the middle setting, and there is still one setting a bit lower. Of course, you can drill your own holes here if you want any kind of a custom setting. Optimally, this bike would be a bit lower still, because now my wife cannot actually use this rack. The bikes are too heavy for her to lift without some kind of a step under her feet. But yeah, I don't want to lower this to the lowest setting, but because then the bikes start to interfere with the rear lights, and that's not a good thing. So it's on the middle setting for us, and yeah, I will lift up and down all the bikes, so that works for us. Then one limitation of the rack is that it takes only 2 bikes, and we travel always with 4 bikes. Adult bikes are on the rack, and the smaller kid bikes are inside the van. The biggest limitation of this rack for us is that it cannot take electric bikes, basically. Total capacity of this rack is rated something like 35 kilos, if I do remember correctly. But there's a limit for a single bike weight, and that's only like 17 kilos or 15 kilos, something like that. And our cargo bike weighs 32 kilos with the battery and around 31 kilos without a battery. I'm now checking the weight capacity from Thule's manual. And here they say that the maximum capacity for the rack is 35 kilos. But they don't say anything about the single bike weight. But if I go to the web, Thule says that the maximum weight for a single bike is 19 kilos. We use this rack always when we travel, but we have a lot of daily use for this too. But the annoyance is that when you don't have bikes on this rack, let me show you. I will open the strap. And this strap too. Oh, this is somehow stuck. Now it opens. Okay, let's take the bike off the rack. Okay, let's close this now. We are at the destination, and we have taken our bikes off. We are heading for a ride. We want to minimize the size of the rack, and then usually I will put this long arm and tighten it here, so it stays in place. Good. Okay, so in everyday use, I will open the door, put some stuff in the van, and then I will close the door. So it's basically quite easy to hit my head with the rack. So when I have bikes on the rack, it's easy to remember to be careful not to hit myself with the rack. But without bikes, mistakes do happen. I usually use this safety, what is this? Some kind of safety belt or safety rope with the bikes too, so that when all the bikes are set up on the rack, I will put this around the frames and tighten this, so if there's some failure on the rack itself, the bike still stay up and do not drop on the road. I do like this rack. We use it every time when we travel and we have a lot of daily use for it. But it is clearly a rack with some character. It doesn't fit for every purpose. Especially if you have e-bikes, this might be useless. But for normal bikes, mountain bikes, cyclocross, road bikes, it is a good rack.